Greetings fellow flat caps and welcome to the Spectrum. It's that time of year again, the time of terror, the month of monsters, the season of scares. It's Halloween. Over the month we're going to be looking at a spooky horror series as well as some scary arcade games. And they're going to... God damn it! It's that time of the month again where it gets all scary, meaning this month we're going to be looking at some spooky games to get into the festive season. Though, the room doesn't look very festive. Perhaps it could do with some decorating. That'll do. Actually, you know what? This might be a good opportunity to introduce our little girl. 1 second. Say hello to our little girl. So, this is Dover Keen, as per Aka's request. She's our lovely little girl, and we love her to bits. Say hello to the people. Come on. The people want to see your lovely face. Say hello to the people. Fine, be like that. As you know, on this channel we cover the unknown, the weird, the forgotten, and as today's game name it suggests, God, that was hard to say, the obscure. A survival horror game for 1 or 2 players, Obscure follows the story of a group of American high schoolers who go searching for their missing friend while fighting disturbing creatures hiding in the shadows. The game starts with a cutscene showing off the playable characters: Kenny, Josh, Stan, Kenny's sister Shannon, and... Wait, where's the 5th character? Oh, I guess we're not seeing them. Well, let's see how long it takes them to give them their credit. So, these 4 teen drama stars finish up playing basketball, but Kenny keeps playing to avoid trouble at home. Shannon gives up trying to convince him, but Kenny stays to play by himself. What a loser. You gain control of Kenny when he decides to stop playing. But that doesn't mean you have to stop playing. There is a tutorial presented in the form of text boxes, but the space between the boxes is fairly far apart and only teaches you about anything that might not be obvious. The game assumes that you've played a game like Resident Evil before, and if you have, the controls are instinctual. Use the left stick to move in relation to the camera, X to interact, R1 readies your weapon, with X to attack, and select opens up your status screen. That's where the similarities end though. Anything that isn't as obvious is presented to you in the tutorial boxes when relevant. When you're sick of your lonely basketball session, you head to the changing rooms where Kenny's girlfriend Ashley, who doesn't get her own fancy credit, is calling him, asking him where he is. During the call, someone steals Kenny's bag and Kenny gives pursuit. The game guides you to the basement of the school. Here is where you learn about combining items. You find some sticky tape, a torch and a gun, which, I'll be honest, feels awkward. The L and R2 buttons combined with the needed stick and X allow you to scroll through and interact with the items in your magic deep pockets. Yes, the game has the unanswered question of where the hell do they keep all that shit? Somewhere in that short skirt is a shotgun. Here you're required to combine the tape, torch and gun to create an improvised gun torch. To do so, you select the tape, it assumes you want to attach it to something, then you select the gun and voila! Now you can see what's going to kill you in the dark while you point a gun at it. Once down the ladder, you advance into the creepy looking basement. Just don't move too fast or you'll miss the jump scare. At the end of the corridor, you learn about an important feature on your torches. Are you afraid of the dark? Well, you don't have to be as long as you're holding down L1, as this increases the power of your torch and will burn away any mold-like darkness. Further in, you find a student who looks like a young, nerdy 47. At first, it looks like he's gone mad, but turns instantly sane when they speak to you. He says you're in danger and you need to get out of here. In teams of 2 are how you're encouraged to play the game. Pressing circle will change between the characters and using the D-pad gives orders to the AI partner. At any time when there is a second character, a second player can press start to join in. As you try to escape, you're attacked and chased by a monster. You need to push a knocked over crate out of the way of the door to escape. Unfortunately, this is where the journey ends for Teenage 47. Oh, he just wanted a kiss. As Kenny tries to escape the basement, The figure from before seals him in using a title card. The next day, Shannon is asking Ashley how the date went. Ashley says she got stood up and Shannon says Kenny never came home last night. They start to worry that Kenny's in trouble. The headmaster calls them in and orders the caretaker to lock the gate.
Yes, take advantage of the sunshine while it lasts.
Not that I'm evil or anything. The girls tell Josh that Kenny is missing and they decide to stay after school to try and find him. You meet up in the canteen. Josh, you dirty bastard, but accidentally get locked in by the caretaker. Then you gain control again and can choose between any of these three characters. At this point, you'll make better use of the square button. Each of the characters has a unique ability, activated with square. Josh can tell if there's an item in a room to pick up, Shannon gives hints about what to do next, and Ashley can do a power attack with any weapon. Stan can pick locks the fastest, and Kenny can do the revolutionary act of sprinting. That sounds like a reasonable thing for anybody to do. You assemble your team by pressing X on who you want to add or replace, and to break out of the room, you need to grab the conveniently placed bat and engage in vandalism. That was satisfying. So satisfying that I did it all over the school. I think the vending machine is out of order. Oh, what gave you that impression? As fun as breaking glass is, it's also useful. Smashing doors with a glass window allows you to unlock it, and smashing vending machines may give you energy drinks that you use to heal. Oh yes, of course, the healing nectar that is caffeine and sugar. Not sure it's a good idea, especially since you find a document saying that the students are becoming addicted to this drink. Smashing the window to the storage room, you find a roll of wire. You can use this to pick simple locks when Stan isn't in the party, but it does take longer. Leaving the room, you get to explore the school in all of its ugly, run-down glory. The graphics are decent, but flawed. The use of darkness and shadow does effectively set the creepy, spooky tone. The frame rate is very smooth and the animations are to a high quality. At least in the game. The cutscenes take a slight but noticeable dip in quality. Character movements become stiffer, acting like posable mannequins with a single facial expression. The environments are pretty decent too. The depressing, decrepit and decaying school looks good and sets the atmosphere well, even if at times it looks more like a haunted house than a school. One thing my overthinking brain did notice is that even though the walls are falling apart, rotted to shit, and the whole place probably stinks of it too, they did a really good job polishing the basketball court. All the locations are painted with dull washed colours, primarily browns and a wash of bronze hue over everything, making a lot of the area look similar. Later on in the game it turns to night, and then the environment turns to an eerie but somehow more appealing dark scheme of blues, greys and browns. There is also some nice attention to detail, like rays of light shining through the windows, and close-up shots of important objects are equally as detailed. Environments can also change layout as you progress through the game, such as when the ceiling in the main hall collapses. As you wander through the crumbling halls, you will need to look for items to survive, and to solve puzzles. In the girls' toilet is a vent that you need to crawl through, however it's locked. Are you sure, Shannon? Just check again. Check again. No? Try twisting it the other way. How about... Looking around for a tool to open the vent, you begin to notice strange occurrences. A pulsating mould festers in the darkest corners of the rooms, and the ground itself begins to shake. Opening the vent, you crawl through and make it to the teacher's lounge, and steal a key which you use to open the attic, until you're attacked by dog-like monsters. Suddenly, Mr. Walden, your teacher, runs in to save the day, also using vandalism. See? Even the teachers think it's fun. It turns out that the monsters die in direct sunlight. Now your window smashing is not only fun, but justified. You ask Mr. Walden what's going on and he says he has no idea, but you need to escape. You protest by saying that you need to find Kenny, so Walden instructs you to go find Mr. Friedman, the headmaster. Not that he's evil or anything. He dashes off because he has something to do and you need to go and find Friedman. But no one said where he is. Not to worry though, as there is a solution. Pressing select brings up 3 panels. the character panel, which holds information about the characters with photos resembling their current health, a clues tab where you can find any files you have picked up, and the ever fateful map that tells you where your characters are and where your next objective is. Getting to your next objective, though, won't be without difficulty. Now that you've encountered your first monsters, enemies will start to spawn in more forms as you play, but after only about an hour's worth of gameplay, you've seen pretty much all of the monsters. There are no official names to be found, so I'm going to go by the fan wiki. The biters from the light room are quick dog-sized annoyances that chew at your shins. Remember that guy from the basement? Well, get used to that model because some of the infected students you find look exactly like him. Oh, I should have left that one alone. She only wanted a Kit Kat. The Arbotribol, might be French, was the thing that you saw in the basement with Kenny. The crab is a hulking pile of muscle that can only move sideways but is dangerous from all angles. And probably, the most creepy of all, the crawler fly. With its giant tail, it can strangle you as it scurries across ceilings. If you want to get technical, there's also a kind of fog monster that you might see rarely. What is this, Lost? It leaves a mold wherever it goes and hurts you if you so much as sniff it. All of these enemies are vulnerable to light. Boosting your torch will cause them to back off, and direct sunlight kills them instantly. A great tactic is to smash windows and stand in the sun, as they are stupid enough to run into it themselves. But be warned to never take the enemy lightly. Was that a pun? Death is a very real threat. Each character can only take 3 or 4 hits before they drop dead. Should a character die, they're gone for good. No backsies. Unless you have any CDs on you, allowing 1 save per limited number of discs. You can use these discs to save at any point in the game, so don't be frugal, but don't be careless either. Also, I'm not sure how they are recording their progress, however, as Josh's camcorder ran out of battery. When both of your current characters die, the game swaps you to any 2 of the remaining ones. Somehow, you still have all the items, but not all the weapons. Those have to be retrieved manually from their death spot. A dead character is represented by a blood figure on the map, which matches their death spot. You can still complete the game with dead members, but the best ending requires all 5 of them to survive. Heading to the classroom areas, you'll find Stan and fill him in on what's going on, and should you desire, add him to the team. Solving the locked door puzzle by burning the lock off with acid, you gain access to the upstairs area. You break into Friedman's office, only to find he isn't here, but you do find a message from the school nurse, revealing more of the mystery of the monsters. 1 compass puzzle later, and you get some goodies. A handy note saying that he's in the library, a VHS tape, and a gun complete with a torch. Game, doth thou spoil me? Then it's off to the library, once we find the key. Another puzzle later, here's the answer, you get a safe code. Crack the safe and you can find the key. Head to the library and we actually do get to meet Friedman this time. As you might suspect, he acts sus and orders you to go see the caretaker to be let out of the building and to leave everything to him. Not that he's evil or anything. Oh well, we've got sunlight. We can kill all those monsters by ourselves. God damn it. Once nighttime hits the campus, your greatest defense is gone, and now must choose between running or fighting your way through the enemies. Combat is also harder now, as the darkness makes it harder to spot enemies in the distance. Thankfully, you've got the AI. Unfortunately, you've got the AI. Your AI partner isn't exactly the sharpest pencil in the classroom. They act like it, but they really aren't. The main purpose is to assist with fighting, but nothing else. You can leave them behind to venture ahead, but doing this won't allow you to swap characters. So don't expect any puzzles that require 2 people in 2 different areas. The flawed thinking of the AI will get you into trouble at some point. They can follow you fine and they don't get stuck on the environment. Their combat capabilities, on the other hand, are a pro-con situation. The pros? They can spot enemies from off-screen and will aim at them, which in turn gives you a visual indication that something is nearby. They also cover you while you're occupied with tasks like lockpicking. The cons? When they target an enemy, it takes them 1 or 2 seconds to figure out how to attack, regularly allowing enemies to get close and munch on your faces. They also have a death wish, as they will willingly leave the safety of sunlight even after being told to hold position to meet the enemy head on, consequentially eating through all of your healing items, or in the less often but still as likely scenario of getting themselves killed. In short, they're capable, but burdening. Getting to the caretaker's office is easy.
You freaky little bastards are not getting out of here that easy. Come here.
Oh, that can't be good. Okay, 100% not good. Oh, maybe there's something here we can use to survive. Oh, baby! Okay, I was sympathetic because you died, but you had a perfectly good shotgun right here put away on your shelf, and you didn't think to grab it and kill the monster? This is on you! The weapons you can get range from almost useless to, God, I love this thing. Starting with the melee weapons. They all feel the same. They swing at the same speed, they handle the same, do the same amount of damage, share the same shape, and are best in the hands of Ashley. They're also shit to use in a pitch black area, as you can't hold a torch while wielding one, relying on your partner to show you the way. Dead meme! Guns are the superior choice because they deal more damage faster and from a distance. As is tradition, you'll find a pistol to start, but you will find other models of pistols with varying stats, different clip sizes, more or less damage, and so on. They are reliable, and with both characters carrying one, enemies drop quick, and as you just saw, there are bigger guns to find, which also vary in stats and look. You can imagine the biggest drawback is its limited ammo. It's not too hard to find ammo, and if you don't spray it the American way, then you will have a suitable supply tucked away in your pockets of holding at all time. While you're in the caretaker's office, you visit the CCTV room to grab the keys, but a bit of plot convenience happens as one of the cameras begins to work and shows you the nurse from the answering machine is calling for help. You can also use the VCR player to get some optimal information about the plot. Now that you have the objective to save the nurse, the game has a noticeable difficulty increase. To save the nurse, you need to turn the power back on so she will unlock the door. You go to the fuse box to find a fuse is missing and have to search the building. As well as the introduction to the crawler fly, enemies will now begin to respawn, including when you're still in the room. The choice to fight or run just got a little bit easier. Run! Save ammo for the big boys! You know that old saying, if you keep finding enemies you're going the right way? Well, for this game, if you find bigger enemies, you're going the right way. Defeating it and solving the fuse situation, you manage to save the nurse, only to find she's lost her mind. Now at this point, I hit an hour, but I wanted to get footage of the co-op and one other feature before stopping, because you guys are great. So I called in the trusty Slug to help. Co-op mode is functional, but feels like a last minute addition to a game that wasn't designed for it. Players share the same items and the second player will have their own inventory display at the top half of the screen. The camera doesn't accommodate for both players. Instead, it focuses on one player at a time and pressing circle swaps it between the players. Best get yourself a partner you can trust and won't leave you to be eaten alive. Or alternatively, you can get a partner you know you can outrun to save yourself. Slug doesn't play the same games as me, so a Resi clone was almost alien to her. But she was able to pick up the controls real quick, and we were able to defeat the first boss we found on our first try with a bit of strategy. Which says wonders for the control scheme, as Akka is normally a PC player and the control pad is alien to her. The final thing to mention is that there are points in the game where you have to pay attention to the environment or face consequences. To advance further, we need to get under the lift, but the gates close when the lift isn't there. A sign says we need to deactivate the lock to allow the lift to move. Using a wooden plank to hold the gates open allows the lift to move away and keep the gates open. The team meet up, and then it's as simple as climbing down the ladder. Oh, shit. Okay, so I will admit I have actually played this a few years ago and completed it, The first time I experienced this, I thought it was a scripted death, but it turns out I was wrong. The sign instructs you to put the lock back on when you're done using the lift, and because we didn't, a random character gets killed off. I did it on purpose this time to demonstrate to you why Josh had a bad day. Trying again with the lock on this time. Still a safety hazard, but we're alive now and on to the next chapter of the game. Obscure isn't as tense or scary or as plot driven as Resident Evil game. But that's not a knock. Even though it doesn't live up to its competitor, what it does have to offer is still an enjoyable experience. There are moments that are scary. It can get tense when you're running low on health or bullets. The mystery of what's going on in the school is steadily paced, and the fact that if you are stuck, there are two characters designed to help point you in the right direction is helpful. It's by no means perfect, and its flaws have a degree of negative impact on the gameplay, but they are flaws that you can adapt to and work around. The co-op feature could also have done with a bit more polish, yet playing with a friend does eliminate the flaws of the AI in all honesty. I personally feel that a horror genre is better when you can share the scares. I'd say give this one a play, but highly recommend a co-op partner because I feel this is the better way to play. And that was Obscure. Thanks for watching everyone, and remember, you're always welcome at the Spectrum.